Good evening. I'm Aijia. Today I will be presenting my research on quantitative research in food-related fields, in-depth analysis from the perspective of sustainable development for the SQE7015. Okay, the contents. My presentation has several parts. We start with the background and objectives, analyze 3 papers from the Google Scholar. Analyze these 3 papers and discuss them, state conclusions, and I will list my references too, and end with thanks. Okay, let's begin. Part 1, research background and objectives. Let's begin with the research background. The global food system is facing huge changes, because of how we produce food and sustainability. Problems like land getting worse, less water, and climate change are getting more serious. At the same time, people are eating more processed food, more processed and unhealthy foods. This is causing more diet-related diseases such as obesity, overweight, diabetes, and heart disease. So we really need to do research on food sustainability. Research objectives, we aim to look at 3 chosen papers. By doing this, we can learn about the roles and the factors that affect food-related fields. This will help us build a good base for making food systems more sustainable. Part 2, the first paper, integrating dietary impacts in food life cycle assessment. Research objectives. The researchers wanted to change the traditional food life cycle assessment. They added nutritional impacts to it. The second one, research methods. They use the life cycle assessment LCA method. This method looks at products' whole life from getting raw materials to throwing it away. 3, data analysis. They combined epidemiological data. This helped them find the nutritional risk factors and calculate the health nutrient index for different foods. Research findings, the results were great. That was very important for human health during the food life cycle. For example, eating calcium-rich food like yogurt was good for our health, but food with high sodium were bad. Research model, the model they made was a big improvement. It could compare foods more accurately by looking at their nutrition and environmental impacts. This is This is the second part. This is part 3, the second paper. Analysis of the importance of food sustainability and the consumption of organic and local products in the Spanish population. The first one, research objective. The researchers wanted to know what the Spanish people thought about food sustainability. They also wanted to find out what made them buy organic and local products. Research methods. They did a survey. They used the NUTSO questionnaire. The questionnaire asked about many things like people's personal information, eating habits, and how they felt about sustainability. Sorry, I will go back. How to go back? Okay. After analyzing the data, they found that women and middle-aged people cared more about the food sustainability. Also, the more educated people were, the more often they bought local products. The research model, people who cared more about sustainability also ate healthier. The PCA model in this study was very important. It helped show the hidden connections between different things, and it gave useful ideas about why people bought certain foods. Okay, let's talk about the third paper, the environmental impact of reducing food loss and waste, a critical assessment. This paper was really important. The researchers made a model when making it. They thought about how prices change, how supply and demand work, and how this affect the environment. The results of their study were really surprising. Sometimes reducing food loss could make greenhouse gas emissions go up, but reducing the waste that consumers make was always good for the environment. Also, when we reduce food loss and waste, we can use resources better and produce less greenhouse gas, but it's not the same in every case. The the model they created is very useful for people who make policies. It helps them see how different ways of reducing food loss and waste affect the environment. Okay, let's move to part 5, comprehensive analysis and discussion. We will compare the research method of these 3 papers. The first paper used the LCA method. Yes, I have said before, yeah. LCA method. LCA method, it could show the whole picture, but it was hard to connect data and understand the results. The second paper had problems. Its sample might not present everyone well, and it was difficult to find out the real reasons behind things. Just my opinion, okay. The third paper's model was helpful, but it had to deal with the complex assumptions about numbers and the uncertainty of the real life. Okay, next page. Look at the research results. We find strong connections between dietary impacts, sustainable consumption behavior, environmental impacts, and resource use efficiency. These 3 papers helped the academic field a lot. They made the theoretical framework bigger and find new ways to do research. In the future, we need to do more maybe that word is interdisciplinary research and pay attention to the differences in different regions. Part 6, maybe that's the last part, research conclusion and prospects. In short, food sustainability is a complex issue. Things like who we are, what we eat, and how much food we waste all affect the environment and our health. Because of these findings, policymakers should make rules to encourage people to consume sustainably and use resources better. For example, they can give money to support organic and local products and set goals to reduce waste. Consumers should choose foods carefully and pick the ones that are healthy and good for the planet, good for the world. Yeah. How to Okay. Research prospects. Looking to the future. Future research should center on improving models. We need to make them better at showing how complex the real world is. Also, we should deeply analyze how complex factors interact and do more research. This will help us understand food sustainability better and find practical ways to make the future more sustainable. The last part is references. These 3 articles, I found them in Google Scholar. If you want to read these 3 passages, I will send this 3 PDF to the WhatsApp later. Okay, If you have any question, you can communicate with me. Okay, we can have a discuss. Thank you all for your attention. Thank you all for your attention. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Okay, my presentation is over. Okay, bye.